Okay, are we on? We are on. Yay! I'm about to go out and have a bite to eat while the cleaner comes in. And yeah, Mandami winning New York. Again, we're back to simple questions. Remember, simple questions. What are our simple questions, ladies and gentlemen? Did Mandami say anything about, remember, he's a socialist for the people, rise for the people, free shit for everybody. Okay. I saw his speech, we are a city of immigrants, and it's like, wow, this is really divisive. Donald Trump has to come through us to get to us. Oh, wow, this is really divisive. Got Tom Holden, whatever his name is, just rounding up anyone and everyone. No way for Mexicans who've lived in America, or anyone who's come from the global south, who were invited in, allowed in, and there was a nudge and a wink, just like there were with us. Us migrants, us white, cashed up migrants with nice passports. You know, I had my whole visa thing. I just walked in, I paid an 800 USD fine. The staff were wonderful at Querétaro Immigration, were really good. Met someone who spoke English. She was so helpful. Thought, my God, what changed? It was horrendous before, horrendous. And it was done. I was like having palpitations. I don't know why. Because just every government department I've ever had anything to do with is a nightmare. But anyway, it was rather, wow, Mexico, thank you so much. So I got my temporary 4-year visa, which could then go into a permanent visa for 4 years, and then you can apply for citizenship. And that was my way forward. I had my Mexican girlfriend. I thought I would build a new life in Mexico. That obviously has come to a complete and sudden end. We all know what comes next. But so they gave me a way in. But in America, they won't give people who've lived for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, have got kids in school, are paying tax, and have a driver's license, even though not technically, they are blatantly not legal migrants. They were invited in as slave labor. But there's no way out. And then Tom, what's his face? He's literally, I've heard so many stories. And yes, Sag girl, I will get back to you on your email. Sorry, I forgot. I'm report after report after report, someone there 10, 15 years getting nabbed. The ones I've seen on the internet are dodgy, very dodgy people. Very dodgy people. It's funny how they prop those ones up. But I'm not seeing ones who've lived there for a long time. Now we can debate why. Why polarization? What aren't we talking about? Now Bannon comes out of jail and says with all these migrants or illegal migrants who were brought in by Biden and Kamala Harris and the elite of the US, they said, come in. There was a plan. One is demographics. You need those people, America. Demographically, you need them. They're getting ready for a war. There's going to be not a war, it'll be a Cold War. All right, so reshaping of the whole world, not just the Middle East. It's eau de Janon for the world. We'll have to debate how good or bad this is going to be. I'm more and more shifting towards bad. It's looking that way because there's just certain things not being said. But we'll have to just sit and watch because clearly we're not going to do anything. We're just going to talk about it. So we'll just talk about it. We'll bear witness. Maybe that's all we can do. So as Bannon gets out in jail and says this is slave labor. You talk about demographics, but really it's slave labor to drive down wages for inflation. That's why you've opened the borders. Yes, but also distraction. If they flood them in, and I said from day one, they'll round up 100,000 of the worst in a big show. All right, to keep everybody distracted and not talking about what? Bankers. All I want to hear from anyone's mouth who is a real truth teller, they're not going to give marriage counseling, the little gay guy, Nick Fuentes, who's blatantly an overt homosexual, who's on video being a homosexual, who hangs around leftists, Jews, and homosexuals. Which is natural, he's the new Nazi. Okay, conservative value Nazi. And Ernst Röhm, they were all homosexuals. In the Second World War, the brown shirts were all homosexuals. Don't be surprised in the new order to come, you see roundups of all sides, including Nick Fuentes. That's how it usually works. Because I love rubbing our faces in shit. You only have to do a very basic search to see who Nick Fuentes is. Yes, the video is coming. I realize why I'm running so late, because I haven't actually been that motivated. But I realized I needed more data because there's just so much stuff flooding in. It's going to make the video even better. It's going to get 50 views, but it doesn't matter. It's on the record. So you see the scam. Bankers. Nick Fuentes is giving marriage advice. telling Candace Owens to shut up and watch her mouth, that she's a woman. It's like, what? Why is a little closet homosexual, who's actually not, he's openly a homosexual engaged in oral sex with all his friends in these little group parties, all right? Because none of them are normal, all right? Whack job Alex Jones is into transgender porn and God knows what else. He probably takes it in the rear from Erica Wolf, his prostitute wife. Look at all these people who are the enemies of the establishment. They are, every single one of them, tax avoiding, multi-millionaire whack jobs. But no one can get them. AOC can't get Donald Trump. Oh gosh, let's talk Ari and Rahm Emanuel. No. Nick Fuentes talked about Ari Emanuel for 20 minutes in what I'd call a white bread McDonald's menu. And he's literally the only one I've ever seen mention it. Mention, key word. Put it in quotes. Mention. That mentioning will drag us all to hell. It's like tokenism, drag you all to hell. All of us. So, you have to forgive me. It's like, oh, I'm just watching this stuff, feeling completely helpless, wondering anyway, the point is, we've got all these folk heroes, and have you noticed how polarizing everybody is? Like, the roundups are so polarizing. All right, they look so bad. Not only are they bad, they look so bad. It's not targeted. It just seems to just swarming in. It's a spectacle of it's like, whoa, dude, you've got every right to enforce your immigration laws, but you invited them in. So you've got to start at that point. If this is so bad, it's chaos and terrorists are in there and pedophiles and mass murderers. Okay, who opened the floodgates? Wouldn't you go and arrest them? Wouldn't you go and indict them? No one's indicted. Do you seriously think they're going to get Comey? Oh, fuck off. Comey's just laughing his ass off. Comey's got the files on all of these disgusting, depraved, closet, sexual deviant scum. All sides. And, oh yes, Comey's been indicted. Where's Fauci's indictment? Mass murder. Right there in all the records. It's all highly dangerous. This vaccine is dangerous, apart from all the other frauds that went along with it. Is Fauci in jail? With Operation Warp Speed? You know, it's staring everybody in the face. Look, lots of people get it. You probably get it. But man, a lot of people are getting, oh, Brendan, maybe you're being too harsh. There's some wins here. We're getting some wins. No, you're not seeing it. This is a reaction. This is the quelling down of the revolution. As everyone was rising up, particularly in places you don't see, our military people that we talk to, what Lee Levina has been doing. Okay, what Mary Silver has been doing amongst the Republican Party in Washington State. You don't see that. You don't see people who contact me who were, training to be in special forces and were injured, and the next minute they're working in very interesting places, talking to retired generals, NASA scientists. That's where this stuff was going. You're not seeing JSOC and SOCOM contacting me. Some serving, setting up sniper positions on January 6th, saying no good will come of this, obviously. You don't see that. That's what they're worried about. They're trying to capture and divert the youth, pen them up in their new heroes while they get other business done. You're controlling the enemy. Remember, as Lenin said, what? To control the opposition, you lead it. I'm not being belligerent, reactionary, taking an oppositional view. If something's good, I'll say it. It's not good, and it's self-evidently not good. You saw Erica Kirk's pathetic, worst-case performance crisis actor bullshit in history. Charlie Kirk is dead, but I don't mind you speculating whether the whole thing was a stunt. 200 people gathered to the front. I mean, let's face it, they can do that. They could pull that off. Very possible. I haven't seen a decent bit of 4K footage. You're watching 4K now, and it's pretty high quality, and I've squeezed that down to 2 megabytes per second from 60. Pretty good quality. That's not 4K. Now you're seeing 1080p squished down, rendered down to a very small file size. You're not seeing the pure 4K. You know how good 4K is on an Apple iPhone especially? Have you seen one single piece of high resolution footage? One. They had a 4K, if not 6K raw, high quality camera. I think it was a Sony. I think it was an A7 IV, something radically hardcore. And they had one behind him. Seen any good footage from that? Simple questions. The bullshit story, the trannies are coming, Alex Jones, yes, the transgender threatening us with M4s. We can see the trans rage. And people believe that shit? Apparently. Tucker Carlson sat there. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Russian GRU general's son, Alexander Dugin, the Satanist and worshipper of Aleister Crowley. Oh, it all makes sense. Whoa, man, it's getting crazy out there. Yeah, that's the point. But no bankers, Mandami, free shit for everybody. Free trains, free subsidized housing. Oh, wow, sounds great. Not sure who's paying for it. But he's smiling, he's positive message, he's a rock star. Oh, it reminds me of a World Wrestling Federation show. Polarizing here, polarizing there. Have you seen one normal person giving just a normal commentary, 2 + 2 = 4, a balanced budget, and let's indict all those bankers on Wall Street, the drug money launderer extraordinaires, all right? Let's indict them, who stole $5 trillion, engaged in the greatest fraud in history. Has anyone gone to jail? Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan? Nope. They're making another $1 billion this year each. Not a mention from the socialists. It's a class war. Viva la revolution, la raza. All funded by Clinton Foundation, Soros Foundation, think tanks, blah, 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 crisis actor companies, privatized military intelligence stuff. Whole fucking Rahm and Ari Emanuel, World Wrestling Federation, rub the goy noses in shit show. That's why I'm angry. I'm fucking insulted. Where's the fucking Captain Monkey and the alien invasion to get the bananas? Give me something funny and clever. This is not even me trying to be funny. It's fucking embarrassing. Muhammad Atta's passport in the fucking rubble? Oh, here's the hijacker's cars. What's in here? Oh, how to fly a Boeing 767, just sitting in the back of the car. Fuck. And we saw through that in a heartbeat back in the early 2000s. In a heartbeat. By 2007, the entire conspiracy was solved by a whole bunch of people, but primarily Chris Boleyn had every detail, every Israeli involved. And we still can't get Candace Owens and Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson to say, who did 9/11? Well, maybe it was Israelis, 4 dancing Israelis. We're not sure. I watch Anna and Cenk and they'll still tell me about Al-Qaeda. 2025, ladies and gentlemen. That's the core. All you got to do is, the marriage counseling, the left, blah, blah, blah. Listen. Just tell me who did 9/11, Tucker. It's so complicated. Hey, Tucker, Carl Cameron gave a lot of the conspiracy away, including all the databases owned by Israel, their complete ownership of the communications, Amdocs variant, the DEA was being backdoored by Israel, all in 2001 November, 24 fucking years ago. But Tucker Carlson produced the most bullshit 5-part series of twaddling shit I have ever seen in my life. The Jews, but he comes on the stage at the World Wrestling Federation, Erica Kirk bullshit crisis actor show and says, the Jews killed Jesus and they killed Charlie Kirk too. Paraphrasing. With the Tucker Carlson patented hyena laugh. And people think that fucking guy is normal? But Tucker can't tell us who did 9/11. Candace Owens, the Jews, the Holocaust is a lie, das Juden und Rats. Candace, who did 9/11? Simple questions. Hey, Candace, do you know who Mary Silver is and Lee Levino? Confronting politicians with the truth? No. Hey, Candace, your husband was with the Jewish Board of Deputies for years. He's the closet bisexual. God, they're all fucking whack jobs. All these Catholic conservatives. I've never seen so many gay men in the Catholic conservative movement. And then you see it with Marjorie Taylor Greene turns up to Nick Fuentes' little gathering. What did it cost? $70,000, $80,000 to stage because he's got no money and he's homeless. And how does he survive with his $500,000 in cash, which he got back? He doesn't just live at mummy's basement. He owns a house outright. Cash. Because he's so suffering. I can tell you about suffering and anxiety and worry and fear. I'll tell you all about it. Nick. But no one wants to mention Catboy and the literal hours of the footage of him with Destiny Steve Burnell, you know, the radical left-wing, self-admitted bisexual, right? Giving Nick Fuentes a blowjob on camera. It's obviously Fuentes. And that footage is coming, don't worry. Thank you to everyone. Keep sending stuff. I just want to pin this down. This is, I'm telling you now, history doesn't repeat, it rhymes, but not in this case. We are watching a repeat of 1933. We are watching a fucking repeat. The same scam. Hitler was funded by 2 Berlin Jewish bankers, for God's sake. You know, ask a fucking idiot Nazi or National Socialist devotee. Ask them. Yeah. And they'll go, this and this happened and that happened. Hitler wasn't so bad. Okay. Then you just go, yeah, Hitler, sworn enemy of the Jews, correct? The Jews, that's your rats. Okay. The Jew. Crowd goes wild. Off his head on crystal methamphetamine, injected by his Dr. Morell. IV crystal meth, baby, sweating like a pig. He's off his trolley. Same with Mussolini on the balcony. He's grinding his teeth. Drugs are so important in this scam. Sexuality, homosexuality, conservative, and they're all homos doing little boys, like Ernst Röhm, the head of the brown shirts, for God's sake. Before the night of the long knives, watch out, Nick. Watch out for long knives, Nick. Because this is how they do their networking. And here we are. No one's got a memory. No one can see it. Well, we can, because it's all privatized military intelligence operations. If you're not in the group, you don't get looked at. They don't need to kill us. We don't exist. This for me is a diary entry as people gather, download my videos. I've got my diary entries from my UN refugee doc. It's out there. The truth is out there. They can never quell it completely. It's like a last will and testament. It's leaving the clues for the future. You've got to think long term. But these effers are going to sit there and spit and piss in your face on this stuff. Tell me about bankers. I don't want to hear about gossip. Tell me about bankers. Tell me about central bankers. I want Rothschild on your lips. Every time you open your fucking mouth, there is only one issue. Central motherfucking bankers. That's it. Central bankers, the private houses of Rothschild, the history of the Hofjuden, the court Jews of Europe, coming in and mating with the weak chin inbreds of ancient Europe and the old banking families of Europe, with the inbreds from the back alleys of Krakow, the Kabbalists, coming in, that Sabbatean Frankists. We'll divert them with drugs, we'll divert them with sexual orgies, and we'll corrupt them. And that's the method they've been using all this time. And then they'll say, freedom is bad, freedom is bad. Marjorie Taylor Greene appears at the Little Homo's Florida convention. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, I didn't know his stuff. Okay, gives it the legitimacy. And who organised that? Nick Fuentes tells us it was Milo Yiannopoulos. You know, the guy that come on Tim Pool and said, you need to go back to the Crown. You need to go back to the Commons, being part of the Commonwealth in good standing, sedition against the King. I mean, when I watched that, I couldn't fucking believe it. I said, what? The guy's selling icons. He's Catholic now. He's selling icons of Mary. He's seen the light. The anus must be protected, said Milo Yiannopoulos. Protect our anuses of our children. These little pedophiles, one and all. One and all. What do you think about that link between Marjorie Taylor Greene? I think you Tor, you're a nutcase too, but thank you for that tip. You're hanging out with Rudy Giuliani. Yeah, right. With Millie Weaver, Gavin Wince, French NATO hanging in the Grand Lodge. She gets deeper. And here we are, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Milo Yiannopoulos, sedition against the King. And what do we have here? A bunch of closet fags brazenly engaging in every bit of sexual deviant behavior, calling on the youth for America first. They're our leaders. Now, you'd have to have a sense of humor, wouldn't you? What did Steve Pieczenik say? Old State Department, Kissinger's right hand assistant. Let the damn cities burn. So instead of talking about central banking, House of Rothschild, think tanks, history, Cecil Rhodes, Round Table, all the stuff we talked about in the day. That's all we ever talked about. How it worked, how the system worked. Carol Quigley, Tragedy and Hope, all of that stuff, these banking families running down into intelligence, Hofjuden court Jews, determined to crush the colony, which said, we have come to free the slaves. They said, we're going to crush that underfoot. We're going to crush it, right? They invent communism, they fund the movements, all the while setting up this globalist system, this global system of surveillance. Is it being dismantled or is it increasing? They can't tell me about central bankers night and day. If they're not talking Shadowgate, tell me about the crisis actor companies. Well, they can't, because then they give the game away, because they are them. And you get polarized, the left, the fascists. It's the same old game. They did it before the Second World War. They set up the communists over there in the Soviet Union to threaten the United States of Europe, so Hitler would come in and he would rise up, and you get everyone under centralized command and control, run by the central banking house of the Rothschild and those 13 families of Europe. We will crush this freedom movement. Crush it. And that's what we're watching unfold. So you divide and conquer. No bankers in jail. I mean, Mandami, all the little, he gave a few little dog whistles along the way, but first thing I'd do if I was this socialist legend, number one, we're going to produce indictments against Wall Street. We're going to demand you're going to pay back every fucking dime. And if you don't, watch out, we're going to find all your tax havens. We're stopping tax havens. We're going to use the power of the US military, the power of our cyber, our literal physical power, which we can expand around the world, ending the tax havens. We're stripping them of their assets. And we're going to reward that meritocracy around the world. We're going to free people. And then Africans will start naming their kids Abraham Lincoln and George Washington again, like they did in the 50s, before the hammer came back on. That's what we need to hear. We don't hear that rhetoric. And you don't just say it once. You know, they ask, well, Whitney, what do we do? She literally says this: refuse consent. Refuse consent. I mean, it's so abysmally bad. You know, she's on Patrick Bet-David. And I actually don't mind Patrick Bet-David to some degree. He's army intelligence, that guy. But he does push back. A little. Not much, but a little. And he pushed back on Whitney Webb. We want names, Whitney. Give us the names. She was like, she was bumbling and fumbling. The CIA, Rockefeller, or the Sacklers. Finally, Patrick Bet-David's Jewish sidekick finally said, Rothschild. And the way he said it, he was like saying, yeah, duh, Rothschild. And she goes, yeah, definitely Rothschild. It's like, there is our leader. She's the Nick Fuentes librarian leader of the female demographic. This is the best we got. As she reads her notes. That's all she does is read her notes off her computer monitor that she steals off everyone and then delivers 30% and then gets cross-promoted everywhere. I was told outright by ASIO people that she would be replacing me. Out and out. That I was damaged goods. Go and hang out with oil and gas execs and consular staff at the W Hotel, Wet Deck and Royal Malay Military Intelligence. To my fucking face! I fucking know what she is. Her father, Richard Webb IV, is a fucking CIA case officer in Sarasota, Florida, who handles drug money laundering into the property market in Florida. That's all fucking Florida is. Drug money laundering. Into real estate. Like Dubai. You want to get the Mexican cartels? You don't have to come to Mexico. They're all in fucking Florida, Wall Street, and Washington, D.C. But that's the piñata. Oh, those fucking Mexicans, man. The killers, the horrible, that kills the mayor. Oh no. Yeah, but it's all run by, as Kay Greg said, the military retire, the generals, they run the drug trade. They run it. Over there, Paris, France, all the money goes into Frankfurt, Germany, Paris, France, goes to Moscow, Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, through the ports of Rotterdam, Antwerp, all the money flows and the drug flows. It's just one big fucking drug money laundering operation. We'll get those Mexicans. But no one in suits. It's absurd. You transfer someone back to 1995, 96, 2000, 2005, 2008. They wouldn't recognize the online world. They'd just be saying, where's bankers? All wars are bankers' wars, remember? Who owns the Fed? It's a private equity company worldwide. All the hedge funds, same people. Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't they rounding up people in suits? Chew and chew gum. Yeah, get rid of the worst that you allowed in and give people a way in with an appropriate visa and give them a fucking education camp to say, by the way, you're not just here to get free shit and make money and become the middle class. You're here to ensure and protect the freedom for everybody. That is what binds us. And if they don't fucking get them, jump on a plane and throw them out with no parachute. Get the fucking message. You're not just here for free shit. The United States is not just another country. It is a value system that must be spread worldwide. The revolution, I have come to free the slaves, must be spread worldwide. It is America's job to spread the revolution worldwide. And it should have happened post-World War II, but it didn't. Funny that. Instead, we had fucking Jewish Bolsheviks. Oh, they just happen to be all Jews. I mean, what do you want to say? They identify as Jews, so I'm going to call them Jewish. And they were all fucking there giving all the secrets to the Soviet Union. Major Racy Jordan, Major Jordan's diaries, where he's documenting all the shit that was just heading out under Roosevelt's completely dominated Jewish Bolshevik freaking war board. Is fucking sending all the shit to the Soviet Union. Why? So the US couldn't dominate. Oh, God forbid the US dominate the planet post-World War II. God forbid. There'd be a viable middle class and at least a moderately reasonable system in place. No. We can't have that. Panic stations. And then we got all our artificial enemies. Boy, how did China become a power? Let's look at their weapons. Made in USA, made in USA, made in USA, made in USA, US technology. As if the Chinese snuck in. They didn't open the doors. The people that opened the doors for China were already here 4 or 5 generations since 1870s and then post-1919 and post-World War II. And they poured in multi-generational, La Raza, one-worlders. And they're conservative and they're liberal, they're gay, they're straight, the man, the woman, the fat, the skinny, and they're all playing their role so that you never lynched the fucking bankers. Ever. Better they march on each other than the palace gates, as the French used to say, and they'd write letters to the English. Oh, the peasants are getting upset, let's have a war so we can kill off the peasants. And they'd have a war, an arranged war, as they'd write to each other, in between fighting and squabbling for the spoils in their palaces. Oh, fuck, I must be a communist. I'd just like an ordinary, reasonable, decent world where everybody pays their fair share, individual merit is rewarded, and alpha males and alpha females that want to build businesses and innovate and are passionate are rewarded and encouraged to innovate. Isn't that what America's about? Don't you pay the workers in their fields their wages? Don't you look after the widows and the orphans? Correct? Oh, you must be a fucking socialist. What's the first thing they'd do if Jesus appeared, as he appeared 2,000 years ago? A carpenter. People said, is this not Jesus of Nazareth? We know this guy, and he's claiming to be the Son of God. So he appears right now, and maybe he's in smart casual attire, I'm not sure. Maybe he's got a headband. Maybe he's tanned with bright blue eyes, I don't know. But he appears. What's the first fucking thing with the same message of Christ 2,000 years ago? What would they do to him? The Koch brothers would string him up and shoot him as a communist. That's what they'd fucking do. I've come to free the slaves. A reasonable, I love the word, reasonable. A reasonable and just system. Not perfect, reasonable. We can't have that casual, logical discussion. And despite all the information and despite millions, 20, 40 million views on documentaries like Adam Curtis, Hypernormalization, and all watched over by machines of loving grace, millions of views, despite all the mainstream exposés on the tax havens and the Pandora Papers and the Panama Papers, we're still all sitting here blaming the little brown people, blaming the leftists and the Marxists and the trannies, and they're calling people fascist, and we're still in this fucking ridiculous game. And that's why you must know that this whole fucking thing's a fraud. The same fake two-party bullshit, billionaire arranged and funded horseshit. Bannon is the only person, the Office of Naval Intelligence, with this extreme deep links to the old Admiralty of Britain. Fuck MI6. It's the Grand Admiralty Intelligence Network. It's the Office of Naval Intelligence. They are the fucking oldest of old school intelligence. Why? Because of the boats and the contracts and international shipping lanes and Admiralty law. Okay? They are the fucking masters. Fucking CIA. Give it a rest. Bannon's the only one that's come close. And now, I believe he's basically sincere because I can see his frustration building himself as like, you can see him getting frustrated. But, you know, the rhetoric is not working anymore. When I headed to war, it'll just be the appearance of a war. There may be a few battles here and there. Ask the Iraqis and the Syrians. They've been in fucking war for God knows how long now. Misery and Armageddon. They are in Armageddon. Armageddon is there for them. But we're going to head to this 10, 20 years. I still remain slightly hopeful that at the end of the day, see, the thing for me is the truth will win. It always wins. It never doesn't win. It's simply how many die along the way. How much suffering happens along the way. But it's very frustrating and it's demoralizing. And I'm sure if you are politically astute and you've been around, you're watching this stuff and you just, oh, God, it's so bad. Yeah, I'd say perhaps the demoralizing effect is what they want. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I have to get moving, and we will have the Nick Fuentes video, I'd say, in the next 2 to 3 days. I want to make it pretty good, it's all good. The sun's still shining. Go out, take a walk, go to a restaurant, enjoy yourself, and just maintain yourself, look after yourself, your health-wise, and if whatever you feel moved to do, whatever you feel, God, my lips are dry. It's very dry up here, 6,000 feet. Whatever you feel moved to do, remember that maintain a fucking sense of humor, please. Let's talk again real soon. F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.